The national debt has reached an unwanted landmark, passing £2 trillion for the first time. Here we can see it climbing over the last couple of decades, rising following the financial crisis and passing £2 trillion in July, as government borrowing for the financial year to date rose to £150 billion. That's 3 times last year's total in just 4 months. Debt has soared as a percentage of GDP too, passing 100% last month. For the first time, the UK owes more than it earns in a year. We're borrowing more to cover the cost of COVID-19, including £35 billion on the furlough scheme, another £8.5 billion on support for the self-employed and £180 million on Eat Out to help out. And the government is taking in less money too. All the main tax receipts are down as the economy has slowed, including VAT by more than 26%, though much of that has been deferred. It's not all bad news. Retail sales figures shown here rebounded last month to pre-lockdown levels, a classic V-shaped recovery driven by online sales and a small sign of returning economic life. But the big question is, how are we, and specifically he, going to pay for it? Barring a miraculous recovery, that boils down to a perennial choice: cut spending or raise taxes. Now, this is what the Chancellor thought the UK would spend this year, and on what. Welfare, health and education make up the biggest chunks of a £928 billion bill. But with borrowing at £150 billion and counting, that's already a sixth of the budget, not far off the entire cost of the NHS. And after a decade of austerity, there are no easy cuts, which leaves taxes. Now, few choose to raise them, but in international terms, the UK has a smaller tax burden than most of our European neighbours, 33.5%, more than the United States, but well below Germany and Scandinavian countries. So there's some headroom, and they may need it. It's not just COVID the government has to pay for. It's promised to level up the country, fund a social care system, and we haven't even mentioned Brexit. A good job, perhaps, that Sunak, at least, has some credit in the bank.